All right, it's official. We are live. Let's go find the post, see if it's posted yet. So much fun with competing conference calls in my house with the kids home, the wife home. Like,
yeah,
just gets chaotic sometimes. There we go. We are officially live on LinkedIn as well. Get this pulled up so everybody can see it. There is a delay, but
okay.
I don't see the comments on our platform, so for LinkedIn as well. So what's going on, everybody? We are live. My first Winning Tactics live officially on LinkedIn. Super excited to be here today. It's been a long, maybe 4-month battle or so to submitting ticket after ticket to LinkedIn to get my access, but here we are. We finally made it happen, and I am excited to have with me my buddy Chad. That way. He is a musician, producer, media. You do all kinds of stuff. Tell us a little bit about what you do, who you are, and.
Yeah, for sure, Adam. Man, I appreciate you having me on, especially the first live one. You're really taking a risk by having me on here. Please, audience, don't judge the rest of his shows by this one. How about that? That's my disclaimer. So, I'll try to be really brief with what I do because there's a few things, but it's all around music. So, my brother and I, we play in a country band called Big Time Grain Company. Obviously, we're not out playing live at all right now, but normally, as soon as things free up, we'll be touring around about 10 states with that. We have a training program teaching artists how to make better or more money and get better gigs. And that's an online training program and a mastermind and that sort of thing. We also have a Dream Big series where we go into schools. We do keynote concerts, inspiring either kids or corporations with a message, the Dream Big message, which is essentially it's how do you figure out what your inner rock star is and how do you go after it. We do songs and for music licensing, songs like for Netflix, TV, whatever, commercials. We create all kinds of things that are way outside of even our country vein. There's instrumentals, so we're doing a lot of different genres with that. And then lastly, I own an entertainment agency as well and book a bunch of almost about 70 to 80 bands here in the Kansas City area.
That is absolutely awesome. I appreciate the fact that you're actually making time for us because it sounds like you are colossally busy. And I know we've tried to connect in the past and schedules sometimes just are hard to line up, but, I appreciate that. So what have you been up to? Obviously your world is a bit shut down. So what have you been up to? What have you been filling the time with?
Well, man, I'll tell you what, it is interesting because even though we're not playing live and I'm not booking live shows, I've had to do some rescheduling and things, but it's opened up time to move a couple things way more to the front burner, which is the music licensing and also the training programs. I do a podcast as well, and I am busier now than I was before this all hit. And so I've had to get way better at organizing. I learned Trello really fast and using that to kind of keep myself on track. But one thing that's really interesting is I don't know what I've definitely never experienced the time, and I don't know if we'll experience the time after this where the people I want to talk to, I can get to now.
Yeah.
It's been insane, and I'm not pitching anybody. Because I don't believe in that tactic, but I'm developing relationships with people all over the world now. And our target market, which is music and things that are connected to music that we're passionate about, and having amazing discussions. I'm getting on Zoom calls, and it's all actually it's come through LinkedIn,
Oh yeah.
So everything I'm doing is coming through LinkedIn, and then we broaden out from there. So
yeah, no, it's absolutely huge. LinkedIn is where it is at. I think I was reading the other day. There's actually a 40% traffic increase on Facebook in the last month.
Yeah,
and think about the scale of that, right? Because Facebook was already just giant anyway, and to think that they're now seeing 40% more traffic, and I imagine that number's probably going up a little bit as well. But it's absolutely insane. So I'm with you though. I'm all over LinkedIn. I work a little bit in the roofing industry with marketing for roofers, and so we've been on Facebook with them because that's kind of the space that they live in, unless they're kind of the bigger companies. Just talking to people, building relationships. That's been the key, I think, and I've actually built probably stronger relationships in the last month because the same thing you're saying, I can get to the people that I need to get to and actually talk to them. It's crazy.
Well, you've probably noticed this too. I've recognized how much time I was wasting in a car before this.
Yeah.
I can accomplish the same thing right here, even if they are 20 minutes from me,
Yeah.
That ends up being an hour extra time, right?
Yeah, no, that is so true. We were talking, my business partner and I, Josh, we were talking the other day on our live stream that we do for roofers about really about effective lead generation stuff, and when you're how much time a salesperson can save if they just make a quick phone call and ask some qualifying questions before they actually go out to a house to measure and quote it, right? And so, that was interesting. I was thinking about it, around here, it's not too bad, but you get into Miami, to get from one side of Miami to the other, which is only about 15 miles, can take you an hour and a half. So that means you can maximize your time. You can maximize your time a lot by not having to actually drive that time. I can schedule 8 hours worth of appointments now. So
yeah, for sure.
We got a couple people on the stream. So we got Josh. Josh is joining us this afternoon, and then we got Damon. Welcome, guys. Appreciate you kicking it back with us on Friday afternoon for a little bit of happy hour. And Damon says, when you figure out how much time you waste traveling, you will try to do more things virtually. I agree. Josh just says 1 mile in Miami is 10 minutes. He lives over that way. We got Adam Rosenwig on. So welcome,
hey,
guys.
Adam.
Bobby's on. Yeah, our whole group, So Chad and I got introduced through a good buddy of ours, Monty, who was on my live stream yesterday. So we've been kicking it with a whole group of awesome people and built some great friendships. So seeing some of these guys hop on, appreciate the love. So Chad, tell us a little bit about, I'm really intrigued about your Dream Big series, the school program that you do, because I think it's absolutely awesome what you're doing. I've watched I think every promo video you've done at least 4 or 5 times because I'm just so enthralled with it. So tell us a little bit more about that. How did it come and where's it going?
Yeah, well, I mean, the crazy part is it's one of those type of deals is the reason I even started playing guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 17 in my high school when a group came through, and I believe they had a patriotic message, but all I remember is they were rocking out, and I was like, this is cool. And a buddy of mine sitting right next to me says, hey, why don't you learn to play guitar and we'll start a band? And that was the day that changed my entire trajectory of my life. That wasn't even on my radar before that day.
Yeah.
And so, when how this happened was I got invited. I was in a network marketing company doing sales. And this was one of my 3 backup plans that I had throughout my life. And I got asked to come speak on sales at a school. And I was following a banker and a more insurance guy and maybe somebody else. And man, it's like 300 kids in middle school. And by the time I got there, you could just see they were glazed over. They had, nobody in middle school is thinking about being a banker, and they're not thinking about being in insurance. And I'm supposed to talk about sales. And I'm like, there's no way these kids want to hear about this. And so I get up there and I've said, so who wants to hear about sales? And like 2 hands out of 300. It's like, well, at the time I was in a rock band. I said, I'm in a rock band too. Who wants to hear about that? Like every hand goes up, and I didn't have anything prepared. I was like, wow, okay. So I just told them my story about how I got started and what happened. And it went so well. The school called back later and said, hey, you want to come back in maybe a few weeks and bring your whole band, and we'll do the deal. And you talk to them again and maybe play some songs. And I remembered hearing about this idea I'd completely forgotten that this is how I even started playing guitar at this point. But I remember hearing about somebody else doing this idea and thinking, oh, that sounds so cheesy,
Yeah.
But after I experienced that, I called that person back and said, hey, can we go to coffee? I'd like to hear more about this. And so we did, and that's where we launched it was back then, and that was in 2005. It was called something different. We ended up doing 30 schools inside of 1 semester. We had Sprint awesome. And the Army sponsor it, and it was intense. These kids were just so hungry, and I maintained friendships with some of those. Actually, I circle back to some friendships with some of those administrators later. And they'd talk about, like, it was years before those kids quit talking about that being the best assembly they'd ever had. And so, but we had some member changes, and so it didn't keep going because of that. And yeah, but my brother and I had always had this idea, had always passionate about the idea. And so when we started this country band with Big Time Grain Company, it kind of circled back around, and they're like, you know what? It's time. Let's do this again. And so here we are.
That is absolutely awesome. I think it's really cool. You are 100% right. Middle schoolers could care less about high schoolers. Elementary kids could care less about accounting and banking and working in an office. They want to know about firefighters and rock stars and athletes and and all those people that they view more in that iconic state, right? Yeah. I'm an accountant doesn't sound so glamorous.
No.
Not to say that it is. I'm not bashing on all those accountants out there. I appreciate everything you do. You keep
somebody's got to do
straight, but somebody's got to do it, because I definitely don't want to. But let's be real about it. That is not the rock star of jobs.
Yeah.
So
unless you're Dave Zoller, he's like super accountant.
Oh yeah. Dave is pretty stellar, and Tim as well. Both between the two of them, So if you haven't checked them out, go check them out. We'll definitely plug them. Go find them and connect with them. They're great guys. They will give you information to save stupid amounts of money that you never thought you could. And definitely, I've taken a lot of tips that they've given. So appreciate them as well. And I did tag them in the comments. So go ahead and find them as well. So what's the future look like for you, man? Because obviously, like, this isn't it doesn't appear this is going away anytime soon. So what's in the future stages? How are you going to keep yourself busier?
Well, I don't exactly know the near future, because that kind of develops daily.
Yeah.
But the extended future is when this clears up and we're able to get out. And what I've heard third party is that China is already experiencing this, that the places that have cleared up, the events are just insanely packed. Yeah. And there's so many things that have canceled here that they won't be able to just start up. you're not going to be able to just start up baseball,
Mm-hmm.
this season. You're not going to be able to start up all those things. So the events like that we have booked are going to have way less competition with other events.
Yep.
There's going to be way less to do, and I got a feeling that they are going to be insanely packed. I know like places like Worlds of Fun is already preparing to bring in more live entertainment than they've brought in the past for when they can open up. I know the events we've got here in town that we're just going to be moving back a little bit. I think they're probably, I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are double or more in attendance just because of that. So the key, so what I'm doing right now is not just for us, but I'm trying to educate artists on what do you do right now in this time. And I've got this mastermind we're doing weekly that is only $20 a month.
Yeah.
And that's going to charity,
Yep.
And what we're talking about on that thing is what can you do right now so that you are ready, so that when this all opens up, you're the group that they thought of. You're the group that was there in front of them the whole time. You're going to be the first one top of mind. You're with your fans, the buyers, everything. And what's going to happen is these artists that were not good on social media before are having to become good now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be so much further ahead than they were because of being forced into this world, and having to get good at it. And I'm watching these online shows with these solo acts. They're getting better every week. They're getting a little more quality. They're getting they're starting to discover new softwares to make them, like how to start pulling in screens of, advertising screens. Then they go out, there's some software out there that's making that happen. We have a shopping center here in town that's paying, Zona Rosa is paying artists once a week to go live on their Facebook, on the shopping center's Facebook page.
Oh, nice.
So the artist, it's at 4:00 on Saturdays, the artist will hop on their Facebook page, which they have 45,000 followers. So it's great for the artist.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah.
And so the artist gets paid, plus the artist gets to put up a virtual tip jar, and they're reaching a way larger crowd because of the shopping center following. So there's some cool stuff happening out of this for sure.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I was reading an article the other day about a shopping center that is doing, or a restaurant. I'm sorry, it's a restaurant, and what they did is they're bringing in musicians, and they bought an FM transmitter, and they're set their whole thing up to do car hop service with an FM transmitter. So you order food, hang out, listen to a live musician through FM transmitter, sitting in your car in the parking lot, and he sits, in the parking lot, and or she, sit in the parking lot and jam out on this FM transmitter. I just thought that was a really cool, innovative approach to get people out of the house, but still be safe and practice the social distancing and things like that we need to do. And it's just so creative to me. Yeah.
Well, Mikey Needleman, he's doing that. We had him on a podcast this last week, and one of the things he talked about was, and I tend to agree with him, is that this whole situation to live music could be what Napster was to recorded music.
Yeah.
Napster forced a change that led to iTunes, that led to Spotify, led to all these things. And that's what's happening here, is we are all seeing artists being forced to online. I mean, before I got on with you, I was on with a major media company here in town that has wanted to do, they've got everything already in place to do high-end live streaming concerts from their place.
Oh, nice.
But haven't done it because they haven't had the people to put it together. And because this guy is at home or has time on his hands,
yep,
he had time to talk to me.
Yeah, of course.
So, and I have all the pieces that he doesn't have to help put this together. So I'm really fired up about where this is going.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know I got some buddies, Matthew Perkins. I don't know if you're on today, but him and a whole crew of people have set up a platform on Remo, which is absolutely awesome virtual networking software. If you haven't checked it out, you should. Trying to give everybody plugs that's helped me out along the way in the last few weeks here. But they're doing a virtual comedy club. They're doing virtual networking events on there. I'm actually going to be speaking, I think it's Wednesday next week. Yeah, Wednesday next week at LinkedIn Local Virtual. So on a panel there with Frank Mengart and I forget who else. There's like 5 of us on the panel, so it should be a really good time there. And they're talking about, I know they've been trying to figure out how to do the live concert stuff too. So, I know their grand plan is like, how can we create a virtual space to replace some of these venues and events that we're so used to going to. What's your thoughts on the long term of that, right? Because obviously we're going to come out of this, stadiums, all those places are going to open up again, and venues are going to start to become available. What do you think is the long term of virtual entertainment events?
Well, I think it was headed this way anyway. Not that you can ever replace the experience of being there live, but you have to live in that city.
Yeah.
You referred me to Matthew.
Yeah, I did. I did actually.
So I got a tutorial of his program, and that is an incredible piece to this whole deal, because the whole idea of being able to go into a virtual deal and sit at a table with like 5 other your friends virtually.
Yep.
And then be able to watch a concert that comes on, and then the concert gets off, and the artist being able to actually then go from table to table. Yeah. To get to know the people at each table, like for 5 or 6 minutes or whatever that is. Yeah. That is the number one thing for an artist beyond being really good, is connecting with their fans. And you are not going to be able to physically probably do that in a live venue, because it's just too hard to navigate, to get out of conversations, to move to the next one. It's just not going to happen. So the idea of an artist being able to do that after a concert, and the idea of a fan being able to know that artist is going to come to their table and they're going to talk to them directly, it's brilliant. Yeah. So I'm super excited about the possibilities of that deal tied into everything we're talking about already.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. He jokingly always says, but it really is a genius statement. He says, it's all the entertainment you ever wanted without the risk of DUI and overpriced beers.
Or virus,
right? Yeah. But I think that's an absolutely hilarious sentiment, but it's so true, right? Because for me, I do enjoy concerts, but it's it's $100 for tickets. It's $70 for dinner. It's $20 for parking. By the time it's said and done, to pay for 2 people or 3 people to go down to a concert, it's a $500 night, and you just can't do that to the same level. But if I was just paying tickets and I could sit in my living room and hang out on a really cool platform, even if it was $50 or $70 for that ticket, that to me is becomes much more accessible from a price point, and so that's where I look at it, is accessibility with these events it becomes more accessible for more people. Plus, if the concert starts at 7:00, I can have dinner with the family. I can sit in the comfort of my own home, and at 7:00, I can just hop on and enjoy the evening. And at 10:00, 9:00, whatever time it's over, I'm done, and I don't have to fight traffic and spend another hour or 2 getting home. So I think it's a really cool approach to entertainment as a whole, that goes beyond just watching TV or watching a movie.
Yeah, well, and you're hitting a hot button with me, because I love watching movies from home, because I can pause it when I want. Yeah, I mean, how many times do you get to a movie and you're sitting there halfway through, it's like, man, I got to go to the bathroom, but I don't want to miss this part.
I know, like I shouldn't have got the large Slurpee and drank 3/4 of it during the previews.
Yes, this is real thoughts. You know? These are real problems we're dealing with here.
I know it. So yeah, no, I'm with you. And I like personally with like movies, TV shows, like if I'm not captured in 10 minutes, I don't care how good the rest of it is.
Yeah,
I'm like not going to be engaged in it. So so I will sometimes come back because I know that it's going to be a good movie. I will come back and like watch it when I can re-engage in it at another time. But, you know, again, paying for like movie tickets, right? It's a family of four is about $200 to go to the movies.
Right.
By the time it's all said and done, if you do dinner and a movie. And so like, I'm with you. Like, you know, I'd rather sit at home and watch movies personally on my own schedule.
Yeah. Well, and just the idea, and I think we kind of said this, that if we do a concert here in Kansas City, somebody in Australia can watch it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they might have to get up at a weird time, but they can still watch it, you know? So,
yeah. No, yeah, and there's opportunities to do, because of the way video works, there's opportunities to do replay events too, right?
That's true, yeah.
You know, so, you know, though you might not get that artist experience, you could at least, you know, you could do a concert at a time that works for you here, and in Australia, it could be a replay event that, you know, is a little bit cheaper because you don't get the artist experience, but they still get the live concert. So, and hang out with their friends. So, you know, I think there's some cool opportunities there. The sky's the limit with this thing. So
yeah, I agree.
I want to switch gears one more thing because this has been on my mind, because every time I see one of your videos or a picture of you sitting in this room with your guitars, I have to ask, what's your favorite guitar that you have?
Well, right now it's the one the new one I just got.
All right.
It's here, I'll grab it. Yeah, so this was built and designed by a guy named Quentin here in Kansas City, who is a custom guitar luthier, however you say that. And he's not mass producing anything yet, or he won't ever mass produce, but I mean, it just plays so amazing, and it sounds incredible, and there's no other guitar out there like it, because I have the first one that looks like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
that's absolutely awesome.
So yeah, I'm super excited about that, and it just out of the box, man, it just sounds incredible. So yeah.
My son plays guitar, and so we bought him his first and only guitar. That I told him, I'm not buying you another guitar ever again, because we spent decent money on it. We didn't just go out and buy the cheap one. We actually bought him a nice guitar. But since then he bought just before all this started going down, he bought a build your own guitar kit. So
wow!
So it's all sanded, like the body, neck, like all that stuff is like ready to go. You have to paint it and assemble it and all that stuff. And so he's all excited to do that. And he's been like figuring out, how am I going to paint this thing? What is it going to look like? Like,
that's really cool.
It is cool. Yeah. So I'm excited to see where he comes with it. So
yeah, that's a whole different gifting there. That's way that's above my pay grade. But Quentin was asking me questions. He's like, and he was using all these technical terms, and I would have to, if it was over phone or text, it was over text, and so I'd have to text my guitar tech and say, hey, he's asking me this, what do I want? Because my guitar tech knows how to interpret what I wanted that I didn't know how to say. So it was pretty funny.
That's hilarious. No, it'll be interesting to see how it comes out. It wasn't too super expensive, you know, but again, it's fully custom. You know, he's going to get to paint it how he wants it. He's going to get to, and so I think down the road he'll probably end up, upgrading pieces and parts of it, and making it, making it better. But it'll be a fun project for him. So
yeah, and he might discover real passion there too.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
He wants to go into some sort of engineering. You keep pushing him towards like production engineering because he loves music and theater and all that stuff. Like get in like to the engineering around like the in music and theater industry, like where you can like engineer sets and lighting shows and sound shows and like get into like that kind of world. That way you're at least ingrained in that world the rest of your life. So, because he's just super passionate about it.
Yeah, well, and I think there's going to be more and more opportunity for those fields online as well.
Oh yeah. It's going to be interesting. But we are just about 4:30 here, Chad. Let's hear some final thoughts. What should we put on the playlist this weekend? What is Chad's recommendations for the playlist this weekend?
Oh, well, that's easy. Just go to my LinkedIn and go to our Borkwin Publishing page and just play all that. Otherwise, AC/DC is good.
AC/DC, all right.
Or Brad Paisley.
Brad Paisley, okay. Yeah. Fantastic. So AC/DC, Brad Paisley. I'm going to throw in there Metallica because I absolutely love Metallica. So that is almost always on my playlist every weekend.
Nice.
So, but I definitely appreciate your time. It has been fun. I think we peaked out at like 5 or 6 users on here. So for the first time, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
Chad, before we go, where can people find you? Obviously LinkedIn, and I'll make sure we drop your. I'm going to tag you here in the comments so people can just click on your name and go find you. But sure. Where else?
Well, for the band, bigtimegrain.com. And then the Dream Big series, it's just dreambigseries.com.
Awesome. So I appreciate your time. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we will have to chat soon. We'll figure out music for next time. We'll have to figure out how to get that going.
Sounds good. Thanks, Adam.